just to see like what would it be like what would Cardi B's second album be like, right? And it's kind of what I expected. It's kind of what I expected. So there's a diss where she was talking about JT, and she was basically she was saying how JT is like, what did she say? Basically, she was trying to say how JT would beg to do anything, and JT was, you know, like kind of kissing ass, basically, which was true. JT, a couple years back, when she wanted to basically get a feature with Nicki added her to live, right? IG Live, and Nicki Minaj just sunned flipping JT. Like, she had JT rapping this song that JT, basically, let me say this, I'm just confusing if you don't know. So basically, JT and Carisha, mainly JT, before the City Girls were formed, or like just at the beginning, she did some diss songs on Instagram Live towards Nicki Minaj. And then a couple years later, when the City Girls were flopping and JT was gagging or salivating for a Nicki feature, Nicki Minaj decided to squash their beef. But Nicki was like, nah, I'm not gonna let you go off this easy. I'm gonna embarrass you first. I'm gonna sun you, put my foot on your neck, then I'll give you a feature. And that's what Nicki did. She had this girl looking a fool. I was gagged, guys, like to the point where I was like, Nicki did not need to do that. So I've given you a background if you don't know. And Nicki Minaj just basically embarrassed JT, and JT, after that, she was getting clowned on Twitter, and people were like, how did you let someone embarrass you like that? And JT was like, no, it's just like we're sisters and stuff like that. But you know, Nicki did what she had to do. That diss where she's dissing JT, I actually agreed with that. But then she brought Lil Uzi into this, and I was like, wait a minute. Why is Uzi Vert catching a stray? Like, why is Lil Uzi catching a stray? She's basically saying how Lil Uzi puts certain things in certain places of his body. I'll put the lyrics on the screen, but I'm gonna have to blur some of the words out because YouTube is hella sensitive. So if you catch my drift, then you know what I mean. Then there's another diss which I actually agreed with, because see what's so crazy is that there's a lot of disses that I actually agreed with, okay? But there's another diss where she was talking about Bia in this song. What is it called? Like pretty something. I'm really sorry if I can't remember the songs off by heart, because my memory as it is very bad. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. Like, I'm the type of person where I can remember a melody of a song, but I can never remember the actual name. I just know the melody, or like I know the name of a song, I just can't remember the melody. But I promise I listen to this, okay? But she's dissing Bia, and she says, name 5 Bia songs, and then she's like, what is that? Gun to your head, name 5 Bia songs. Pow, I'm dead. Oh! I was gagged, because when I heard that, I was literally like, when she said gun to your head, name 5 Bia songs, I was literally scrambling in my mind like, oh my gosh, Shalom, name 5 Bia songs. I couldn't name 5 Bia songs, guys. I was gagged. That's the only 2 disses where I was actually gagged, but the rest of them, nah, not really in my opinion. But I'm not gonna lie, I can't name 5 Bia songs right now. I can't. On the spot, if someone asked me, they gave me like 15 to 30 seconds to name 5 Bia songs. I don't know. I don't know. And that's the thing I have with Bia. I don't know what happened to her career, but this is what happens when you don't want to change up your melody, you don't want to change up your style. Like, Bia has this very laid back kind of rapping style, and that's why I didn't like her verse on the Super Freaky Girl remix, because the Super Freaky Girl remix is very animated, and you know, Nicki's very animated, she's out there, she's dissing, and then you have Bia coming in being like rapping like she's smoked a pack of blunts or something, like I don't know. I feel like Bia's rapping, there's a time and a place, and most music that she is featured on just doesn't suit the vibe. Like, I'm pretty sure I've heard Bia sing, and Bia is a better singer than a rapper.
Put your hands up for the chat. Johnny's in here, he likes how I throw it back. Johnny's in here, he likes how I throw it back. We in the chat right now. We in the chat right now. Be a roll call.
But I can't name 5 Bia songs. If you can, let me know. But without Googling as well. Because that's the thing with YouTube, is that people be like, oh, I can name these songs. And it's like, yeah, you've Googled that. Okay, let's cut the ish, okay? But I generally can't. And I actually like Bia. I generally do like Bia. I think she can rap. I just think she needs to switch it up. I think she needs to be singing more. Because I heard her sing on a stream. I don't know who she was on streaming with, but I heard her sing. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, you can actually sing. Why are you rapping? Like, I beg your pardon? We're moving the goalpost for Cardi B. Okay, she added songs from like 5-6 years ago to her album. And people are saying it's the fastest album to go platinum. But if we were to remove WAP, and we removed Up, that wouldn't have went platinum. I'm telling you right now, that wouldn't have went platinum. That album wouldn't have went platinum. I just think that's cheating. And I think people are moving the goalpost for Cardi B because she's untalented, she can't rap. That is just my opinion. If, for example, let me see this, because some people are brain dead. Okay, so for example, let's just say Post Malone wants to release an album this year, okay, later on this year, and then say, for example, he takes some songs from flipping beer bongs and whatever it's called. What's it called? Beer bottles and Bentleys, whatever it's called. And say he takes like Better Now. Yeah, na, better now, better now. You know that song that was released like 10,000 years ago? Yeah, and that song was released in like 2018. Say he's releasing an album and he puts Better Now to the end of the album. You guys are going to be looking at him like, what are you doing? Like, what's the meaning of this? So I just don't get how, if it was Post Malone doing it, everyone would look at him weird. But when it's Cardi B, everyone's like, oh yeah, she's just playing chess, she's doing the right thing. Or even if that was Beyonce or whoever, you guys would be clowning them. I know you guys, if it was Nicki, Beyonce, whoever, if it was Doja Cat that was doing that, we wouldn't hear the end of it. If it was the actual talented crew, because that's the thing, is like, from the talented people, you expect more from them because they are talented. But for some reason, I believe on Apple Music, Cardi B is selling her album for $4.99. For $4.99? I would have thought, since you're Cardi B and since you're one of the big 3 female rappers, why are you selling your album for $4.99? Shouldn't that be like at least for $13? Sell that for $13 if you are all really about it. But she's selling it for $4.99 because obviously it's $4.99. Like, that is not a lot of pounds. What is that, like, I don't know, like £3? I don't know how much that is, but it seems like she's taken the Travis Scott route, where, when Travis Scott was selling merch and it counted as like flipping album sales. Like, what the hell? Like, you remember the Sicko Mode era? And even the last album he released, not the Jack Boys one, but the one with the black background, and he was selling like this brown tops, and Billboard kept changing the rules. They're like, well, it does count as album sales, and like, I feel like Billboard are really weird. They keep changing and moving the goalposts depending on who it is, and it's always really weird how when Nicki Minaj is gearing up to release, they change the goalposts. They say, oh, merch isn't a part of selling this, or oh, this isn't a part of selling it. If you sell your music with this, we're gonna take away 100k of your streams. I don't know, I just feel like this album overall, I didn't need it. She should have taken the Rihanna route. She should have taken the Lauryn Hill route and just released one album. It's like she lacks delivery with her bars. It's like you can tell like she's reading off of somewhere. Like, it's not like she has her heart into it. I don't feel the emotion. I don't feel like the passion in her raps. Even there's other rappers who have ghostwriters, but they're still able to put in that passion. They're still able to put in that emphasis and that emotion into their rap. Even singers, they might not even write their songs, for example, but they're still able to put in that passion. They're still able to put in that emotion in the notes they sing. And it makes you think like, oh my gosh, they wrote the song, only for you to check the credits and it's like 10 other people who aren't them have written the song, and you're like, oh damn, okay. Especially in Imaginary Players, the delivery is just off, okay. And Jay-Z definitely peanut buttered Cardi B up. You can't tell me nothing that he didn't peanut butter her up. I'm sorry, but the album overall, like 23 tracks, this album could have been, I've listened to the album like once and then again, but halfway through because I was fighting for my life, and you couldn't pay me to listen to this again, I'm sorry. But I think this album could have been condensed to at least 15 tracks. There are a lot of skips in this album, I'm not gonna lie. I think the best song, or my favourite song I would recommend, is Safe with Kehlani, but I only really like Kehlani's bits, no tea, no shade. And that song sounds like another song. That Safe song sounds like, the song with Jordan, I've forgotten his name, like Adetenji something, the Kehlani song, I like a bitch that match my energy, and it sounds like the beat from there, and they've just moved a couple of beats around and then they've put in the lyrics and the melody for Safe. Does that make sense? But I was a bit overstimulated at some songs. Cardi B's gonna carry on music. This is what I would do if I was her team. I would tell her she should have been in the Spanish market. She should have been going to the Latino market, okay? They would eat her music up. Like, considering we've waited about 7-8 years for this album, this should have been like the best album of Cardi B's career. This should have been something where it is something which is undeniably great, to the point where I'd have to put my hands up and say, you know what, like, I might not be the biggest fan, but this is great. And it's just like, I can't even do that. It kind of seems like Cardi B tried to have a Lemonade era, but it wasn't executed properly and the marketing wasn't done in advance. And I feel like the reason why Beyonce's Lemonade era was so successful, and it's one of my favorite eras, actually it's one of my last favorite eras from Beyonce, no one can tell me nothing, but do you know the secret why Lemonade was one of the best albums released that year, and it's an album I can still listen to front to back to front, and I'm That album was released when I was around 11 years old and I'm 21 and I can still listen to it. Do you want me to tell you why that album is still so good years later and why it's a vinyl worthy album? Beyonce has talent. Beyonce is actually gifted. You know, Cardi B does not have Beyonce type of talent to pull off a Lemonade Era. To me, it seemed like she tried to kind of do a Lemonade Era, but it didn't really work. And I think the lyricism for me is too ABCD. Like, how do you have a ghostwriter? Yeah, people writing for you, and the lyrics are still trash. Like, how the fudge does that make sense? That's so confusing. Like, it'd be different if Cardi B was writing for herself, because you can tell normally when Cardi B writes herself, and it's obvious, you know. But like, you have multiple people writing for you, and yet it's still trash. Like, someone needs to be fired. Someone needs to be fired on that writing team, because what do you mean? I felt like this album was just very okay. Like, yeah. Is it going to be an album I'm going to be talking about in 10 years time? Like, is it going to be an album I'm going to be telling like people in 10 years time, like, oh my gosh? Like, is it going to be a Lemonade album? Is it going to be something like a Pink Friday where 15 years from now I'm still talking about it? No. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. I just don't think the bars were hitting that great. I think the featured artists like Tyler Kehlani and what's her name? Tyler Kehlani. I think they were some of the best features. I think the featured artists, the Summer Walkers, Selena Gomez. I felt Selena Gomez kind of just did her job and she dipped. Like, I wasn't really wowed. To be honest, Selena Gomez has never really wowed me, but I have been like, oh my gosh, that's really good. Like, you know, the Bluest Fame. Like, I just want to go all night. I just want to go insane. And that song's a bop. That whole album is fire. I don't know what she did with Benny Blanco in that album. That was fire. But I just feel like the featured artists were actually better than Cardi B, in my opinion. Like, Safe, I only come for Kehlani's bits. Her vocals are so smooth. Like, Kehlani just doesn't get enough credit for how smooth her vocals are, in my opinion. Tyler as well. I love Tyler's vocals. I mean, it's Tyler. And yeah. And even like the Janet Jackson sample, I was just like, I don't know. I feel like if I had an album and I was sampling Janet Jackson, like the Janet Jackson, the closest thing you'll get to Michael Jackson, that song better be fire. That better be the best song of the year. And to me, it just wasn't the best song of the year. It's not going to be album of the year. It's not going to be song of the year. But I don't know. Let me know. I just feel like we praise mediocrity in the female rap space, especially in the female rap space. Like, I feel like female and male rap is very different, okay? With female rap, you can just kind of be pretty and, you know, that's enough. As long as you have a BBL, you're pretty, commercially attractive, and you have a bit of personality, that's enough. People will blow you up, blow smoke up your ass, lie to you all the time. And that's why I'm kind of at a point in my life where I just can't bother to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie and say music is good. I'm not going to lie to you and say you can sing when you can't. If you can't sing, you can't sing. You can't rap, you can't rap. And Cardi B can't rap. The way that Cardi B feels about Bia is the way that I feel about Cardi B and Nicki. I like Bia, I really do, but I feel like coming for Cardi B, you're punching above your weight, babe. Like, I can't name 5 songs from you so for you to come for Cardi B, I was in shock personally hearing those disses. Like, I actually liked Bia's diss to Cardi B. I just do feel like I don't think she needed to bring Cardi B's kids into it. I think that was a bit weird from Bia's end. Okay, I will say that. I like to be honest on this channel. I will say that I thought that was a bit weird for Bia. I feel like when you start bringing in children, it gets a bit weird. Okay, because children are innocent. They didn't have anything to do with this. Okay. Unless they're like adults and they've actually inserted themselves into the beef, that's different. But I'm talking about children here who don't know what's going on, like culture wave, etc. Cardi B, when JT and Bia come for your neck, because they will, please don't paint Bia and Bia and JT to be these bad guys. Okay, the thing is with like the JTs and like the Nickies and the Bias is like they will get dissed or whatever, and then it's like when they diss back, people are like, oh my gosh. Bia dissed Cardi B like almost a year or 2 ago, and then Cardi B comes back with a diss like 2 years later. Like, come on guys, why do we move the goalpost in hip-hop for Cardi B? Cardi B goes against every hip-hop rule. Okay, so for example, this is why I don't like how the Kendrick and Drake and the thing and Cardi and Nicki thing went down. So Bia disses Cardi B, right? And then Cardi B waits a year, nearly 2 years to come back. That goes against hip hop, because in hip hop, when you are dissed, you have around 24 to 48 hours to reply. And if you don't reply in those hours, you've lost. But for Cardi B, it's fine. When Bia dissed Cardi B threatened to sue. And everyone was encouraging her, saying, yes, she should sue. But when Drake wanted to sue Kendrick for spewing lies and spreading misinformation, everyone's like, oh, he's not hip hop. But when Cardi B does it, it's fine. Like, I just don't I genuinely don't get it. Like, people say, oh my gosh, ghostwriters are no, there should be no ghostwriters. But Cardi B, you know, she doesn't care. She said she doesn't care about being a lyricist. She has Partisan Fontaine and people writing for her, and no one cares. So that's what I don't get, is that we moved the goalpost, and Cardi B goes against everything in hip-hop, in black culture, but no one bats an eye. No one says anything. Like, if half the things that Cardi B has done and said for this album was on Nicki or Drake or whoever, like, there would be hell. We wouldn't hear the end of it. Okay, if Nicki Minaj added songs from 5-6 years ago to an album she's going to release this year, we wouldn't hear the hell of it. People will say, oh, she's a flop, or da-da-da-da. This could have been kept in the stash, okay? And considering you made us wait like nearly 10 years for this trash, that's even worse. So if the next person who's going to release, I can't wait for Doja, for real rap to come back, for real talent to come back. I don't think there's going to be any major hits from this album. There probably might be maybe some TikTok trends or something maybe, but apart from that, is it going to be an actual hit that I'll hear when I go outside in the summer? No.